Hello, hello, hello. Hey, best friends. Hey, best friends. Hey, best friends. Come on in the room, as I always say. Come on in the room. Come one, come all, come big, come small. Come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. There is room on the couch for you. Huh? There's room on the couch for you. You guys see, I got this big old pimple. Look at me. I got this big old unsightly pimple, girl. But for those of you guys who have no idea who I am or where you found yourself, I am Candy Sincerity Johnson. We do a host of things over here on the Johnson Family Network. We have coined this space and this place to be called the Johnson Family Network, not just the Candy Sincerity Johnson page, but we call it the Johnson Family Network, primarily because this is the space and the place that my family and I have decided that we would document our journey. Our journey of what? Our journey of life, our journey of love, our journey of the rebuild after the divorce and co-parenting of myself and my then at the time longtime partner of 17 plus years. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome. Hey, Miss Sandra, Miss Paula, Melissa, Barbara, Deborah. I see you guys coming in the room. Hey to each and every one of you guys. Melissa said, are y'all staying warm? Yes and no, Melissa. I'm in the house. I have been in the house since yesterday. I've been at T's house, since Friday, but, I've been in the house since yesterday. Yesterday, Melissa, I decided I wanted to be adventurous. And I said, okay, T, you got to go to the grocery store and pick up your grocery order. I said, I'm going to ride with you. I said, oh, you got to go to Target? I'm going to ride with you. So she kept saying, I think it's a little cold for you. I think you should stay in. You know how your asthma do in the cold. And I said, don't worry about it. I got my two, where they at? I got my two, best friends. Look, I got my two inhalers, and if need be, when we get back, I'll do a breathing treatment. Girl, we get to Target, we walking. We get to Target, we walking. We get to Target, I start slowing down. She was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. Unbeknownst to me, best friends, my phone butt dials the business phone for Sincerity Johnson. So Chaun had both her personal phone with her and and the business phone. Chaun had the business phone yesterday, obviously because she went live on SJ. So I butt dialed while me and T are in Target. I butt dial SJ. So because that's typically the phone that I talk to the kids on, when I called, Chaun just assumed that I was calling to talk to the kids. So in the midst of me butt dialing the kids from Target, girl, Chaun gives the kids the phone and they holding the phone, I guess calling my name for the better part of 12 or 13 minutes. So I guess it recorded my whole conversation of how I was telling T, I'm trying to keep pushing myself, walk through the store, get my lungs and stuff moving and all that. But yeah, they couldn't hear me talking. So they were starting to get worried and it was just this whole thing. But yeah, long story short, I am staying warm. I am in the house. I just took a shower. I put my eye drops in. So sorry guys if my eyes look a little strange. But I just put my eye drops in. And I took a shower and I'm just sitting on the couch, girl. I'm sitting on the couch. She wanted to go to her, she wanted to go to the gym to work out. And so, she likes this dance class. It's this particular class that they only have a couple of times a week. So she likes to go to this dance class. So she went to do that. Sherry said, is your face swollen? It may be from, my asthma medicine. I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised. My eyes look real heavy. I've been putting my drops in, for that. I know my skin is dry because of the weather. I've been trying to moisturize more. Girl, I got a pimple down here. It's my hair look crazy. It just is what it is. It just is what it is today. I'm not looking my best. So not looking my best, not feeling 100%, but here nonetheless. So y'all know typically, When I'm here by myself, sometimes I'll give you guys a call and I'll tell the best friends, I'll be like, girl, keep me company until T gets back. So the game plan for today is her class is over. Her dance class is over about 11:45. She said that she's going to run by Starbucks because that's our thing, girl. She's going to run by Starbucks and get us our refreshers. So she's going to get our refreshers. I also talked to Chaun. Chaun and the kids are at church in the city. So Chaun is about maybe 35, 40 minutes from us. When Chaun and the kids get out of church, I was supposed to meet Chaun to do the exchange with the kids. T said, no, I don't want you out in the cold. It's cold out here. After yesterday with my lungs and how bad, my asthma was acting up yesterday, she's going to meet Chaun to get the kids. So Chaun and T are going to meet this afternoon to get the kids. And then T is going to cook. She said she's going to do like a brunch or something. Caleb and Kennedy love her French toast. She said she's going to do French toast, eggs. I think she said grits. I know she likes the potatoes and onions and all that. She loves that. And then she said she was going to do beef bacon and something. I don't know. So anyway, she said she was going to do that. If she does all that, then that's going to be what I eat, and I'm not going to eat again today because that's very heavy. That's a lot of food. So if she do that, then I'm going to eat that. The kids will eat that. They love that. And then we'll probably stay over here with her for a couple hours. I'm not sure if she's going to come to the house tonight or not. But then, of course, I'm going to take the kids home, get them showered, get them ready for school tomorrow, and then we're going to start our week. She didn't want me to leave out to meet Chaun to do the exchange of the kids because what triggers my asthma more than anything this time of year is when I have to go out and come in. So it's the difference between the warm air in the house, the cold air in the, outside, and then coming back and forth. The back and forth between the warm and the warm and the cold, really, really, really is triggering, which makes sense as to why we were walking around the store and girl, I just about fell out in the store. So yeah. Melissa said, yeah, Chaun said that they were going to church this morning. Yeah, I talked to Chaun this morning. We text this morning. So she sent me a picture of the kids, in the back seat, girl. The kids was laying on each other in the back seat. Kennedy in them car rides, girl. So Kennedy said, girl, I'm just going to go ahead and take me a little piece of nap. And so her and Caleb was cuddled up in the back seat. So when Chaun and I were texting, she sent me a picture of the kids, in the back seat. And I know she's going to be posting a reel on the page here soon because, she sent me this video clip. I told her, I said, this would be good for the page. She sent me this video clip of, Caleb clapping his hands and stuff in church. He didn't even know that she was recording him, but that just goes to show you how into the service he was. He was clapping his hands and stuff while the choir was singing. But best friend, so that's pretty much been my weekend. When I say all I've really been able to do is breathing treatments followed by rotations of my inhalers, and like it's just been this repeated thing, repeated. My body is drained, and I just cannot figure out for the life of me how this whole asthma thing became, like I was talking to T about it last night, how it became a whole thing. I never had childhood asthma. I wasn't the little kid that had asthma. I played basketball in school. I played volleyball in school. I was an athlete. I didn't have asthma. My first experience with asthma was, I want to say shortly after I had the twins. So I was the adult that developed asthma. Now I will say I believe that it was attributed to me living in a house with 3 smokers growing up. My mom still smoked cigarettes. My grandfather smoked cigarettes. And then my grandmother smoked cigarettes. My grandmother has since quit, but my mom and my grandfather has passed away, but my mother still smokes. But, you know, when I was a little kid, to grow up in a house with 3 people who smoking cigarettes, girl, any room you walk in is a cloud of smoke. You know, and this was back in the 80s and the early 90s. So people weren't as self-aware of the damages that secondhand smoke does now as they do, you know, whatever. So, let me see. Camicia said, LOL, you living the life. Got you 2 ladies loving in the same boat. Must be nice. No, it's not that. It's not that, best friend. It's not me having 2 ladies. I mean, Chaun and I were married and divorced, and so we co-parent. And then T and I are in a relationship. So, you know, but I don't think it's 2 women loving on me, in a particular way. I just think it's 2 grown women who show up and they know and understand that the common factor or the common denominator are the kids. And so with T knowing and understanding how bad my asthma is and her wanting to cook when she leave the gym, she was just like, I don't want you to have to go in and out, right? So I'll just make it easy for you. These women get along with each other. They don't have a problem with each other. So them meeting up to exchange the kids it's not an issue. You see what I'm saying? That's just mature women just showing up doing what they need to do, or, you know, just showing up for the kids. Thank you for the stars, Anthony. Thank you very, very much for the stars. That was so kind of you. Thank you very much for the stars. But yeah, so best friend, it's not the case. You know, I go over and beyond for these 2 ladies as well, but I think they've both had their own personal experiences with seeing how sick I get with asthma and how much the weather plays a role in me having triggers with my asthma. But trust and believe, both Chaun and T get their money's worth in the spring and the summertime with me. And then I make it up in the house, right? There's a lot of stuff that I do in the house to make life easier for both of these ladies. So, it's just that I know it may not look traditional for some people, and I know that's hard to believe. I know a lot of people, when they see folks co-parenting, they're used to either them constantly be in conflict, or they're used to seeing, you know, people going out of their way to be unkind to one another. But that's just not our story. And so I'm not saying that we have the perfect story. We don't by any means have the perfect story, but I do think that we have grown over the past several months, almost a year. And I think we have taken lemons. We've all 3 of us can say that we've taken lemons and made lemonade. So I hope that gives clarity to what you were saying. She said, yeah, but they have 2 things in common, is you, and then they both love you. But do your thing. I will be in heaven. But it's not heaven, though. It's not heaven, best friend. It's not heaven. A lot of people see me and they think, man, you living. It's not heaven. Because you got to remember, these are 2 feminine women who have very real emotions. And let me throw some more fire on it. I'm dealing with 2 black women. You understand what I'm saying? 2 black feminine women from the south side of Chicago who have very real emotions. So you could almost imagine how hard it was to get to this point. You see what I'm saying? It took a lot of work, and it took a lot of growth, and it took a lot of patience for everybody. Not just me, but for everybody, for us to get to this point, because it's a very difficult situation. Do I think both of those women love me? I do. I think Chaun will love me for the rest of our lives, but not in a romantic capacity. I would love Chaun for the rest of my life, but not in a romantic capacity. I think we know and understand that ship has sailed. But I think what we have tapped into was, sometimes you'll hear me specifically refer to me and Chaun's stint as 20 plus years. Sometimes you'll hear me refer to it as 17. The 17 was the romantic part. But you guys got to also remember, there were a couple of years where that was my best friend before we ever dated. So That's my best friend. That's my sorority sister. That's my business partner. There's a lot of overlap there. And so, we're in a situation where, now we've like dialed into that piece of it and left the romantic stuff alone. But I get it. You know, best friend said, "Oh Lord, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, it's two black women, two real black women from the South Side of Chicago. They feel how they feel. You see what I'm saying? They feel how they feel." But, it is what it is. Miss Odessa said, "Do you have a humidifier?" I do. I have one at home, and then T has a really, really nice one in her bedroom. I told her, I said, "Send me a picture of that." So she got it on Amazon, and I told her, I said, I'm wondering if hers works better than mine, but hers does a whole lot of stuff. So I was like, I might need to get this one. But I have one here hers, she always put it on when I'm here. And then I have one at home too. But thank you. She said, "I'm just messing with you, boo. I get it." No. It's good conversation. I appreciate you bringing it forth because it's good conversation, because sometimes it's the one person who says something that other people are thinking. So, me, this is what the platform is here for. We here to talk. You see what I'm saying? This is what we do over here. We here to talk. Best friend said you need to use an air filter. Okay, I definitely can look into it. Olga said it's amazing to see you to continue to co-parent and work your business. Our business is running stronger and stronger every month. We're growing again, and so I think not to get spiritual, but I can't talk about it and not give credit where credit is due. God will open the door and make way for you when you start to heal and do the work that needs to be done. So when forgiveness started to take place, when we started to get out of our own way and stop leading with what we needed and what we wanted and start looking out for the collective, which was all of us, then doors started to open for the business. And I'm grateful for that, because we kept for months and months and months bumping our head trying to figure out what was the disconnect, what was going on, why weren't the numbers coming like they used to. And so we were standing in our own way in other aspects of our life. And so when we just opened up and just started being better and submitting in a way, then, things started to open up. So, yeah. Best friend said last time y'all trolled me for my comments. I don't troll. I don't go on anybody's page. I ain't troll. I don't troll anybody, best friend. Tammy said God does everything on time. Don't he? Yeah. Best friend said nebulizer. I think I'm missing some other comments. Melissa said my husband has asthma really bad. When he was a child, it wasn't until his mother got him into playing baseball that helped, and he grew out of it. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I don't know. So it's very interesting. I don't know how mine developed as an adult. And I don't know. I'm telling you, and I'm not trying to blame everything on my experience of being pregnant, but I'm telling you, it was so much stuff that shifted my body and changed after I had the kids. Girl, when I say I just don't know. But I'm telling you, that was my first little, so it was like, okay, Kennedy and Kayla were born in November of 2013. 2013, because I had small babies, Chaun and I spent all of that winter for the most part in the house, right? I was in the house, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, we was in the house. So you might as well X that winter out because they were real, real small. By the winter of 14, that's when the asthma started and everything. And I'm like, how did we get here? I was not the person who had these issues. So, I don't know. I have no idea how I ended up down this road. Melissa said, I think it's great. Hold on. I think it's great that you have Chaun and T to help you with the kids. It's truly a village. Yeah. Yeah. But I would add, it's not just Chaun and T. My family on both sides are great. my godparents, like, I don't think I've ever told you guys, but my godparents are actually my aunt and uncle. So my grandmother's brother, which is my great uncle, and, my godmother are my godparents. They were married for over 40 plus years. And so, my godparents are my aunt and uncle. And not only did both of these individuals show up in the capacity of aunt and uncle in my whole life, they've also been tremendous godparents. And so they were godparents to me. And although they're not godparents to Kennedy and Caleb, my godfather is taking Kennedy to the daddy-daughter dance on Thursday of this week. So, he was like ecstatic, like he was so over the moon when Kennedy asked, because at first Kennedy was like, well, maybe one of my uncles, my Uncle Wes, which is my brother, or Uncle Jordan, when Jordan was still here in Illinois. And then she thought about it and she was like, nope, I want Uncle Carl to take me. And she just became adamant about it. And so, I put lotion on my face, best friends, and my face is still really dry. Oh God, this winter is just tearing my skin up. So, Kennedy was like adamant about it. You know what I mean? And I thought it was the cutest thing. And so because he's retired, he was just like, I would love to do that. You know what I mean? And so he's been looking forward to it. Kennedy been looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm blessed. I've always been surrounded by people who just show up and they love me. And in return, I love them too. And I show up for them. My family has always just been that. And so because T and I have very similar family values and Chaun and I have very similar values, it translates. Hold on just a second. Okay. Sorry. I had to text T, because I didn't want her to think that I was ignoring her. Dana said, oh my God, my family does that. My aunts and uncles are godparents. Yeah. 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 And it's so crazy, best friends, because, I don't know if I should say this on live, but whatever, we transparent with you guys. So when Chaun and I were trying to figure out who Kennedy and Caleb's godparents were going to be, we sat down and we had a long conversation and we chose friends of ours, right? We chose friends of ours and we had a very pivotal role in their kids' lives and they had a very pivotal role in our kids' lives. So at the time when we were all really close, this was before we lived here in this area of Illinois. This is when we were all really close, we were still living in Bloomington, which is where we all went to college. So after we graduated from college, Chaun and I bought our first home. We were working for State Farm, that whole thing, right? So we were hanging out with them all the time. We were spending a lot of time together. When we asked them to be the kids' godparents, we were all still really close. And we were all like seeing each other all the time. And we were really involved in each other's families and lives. And I think over the course of time, nothing happened. Like I can't point to an instance where I'm like, you remember we fell out over this or that? It was never that, right? It was always love. But I think life gets in the way. So now fast forward, you have a situation where we live in the northern part of Illinois. They live in like central Illinois. And it's like almost 2 hours difference. Well, their kids are older and got activities. They work jobs. Their kids don't work jobs, but they work jobs. We have 2 businesses. Our kids have activities. We got family members that we taking care of. My asthma. Like we got 50 million things. And then quite frankly, Chaun and I are not in a relationship anymore. So all of us seeing each other is just not conducive. It's not easy like it once was, right? Well, now, you got the situation where now Kennedy and Caleb don't really have that sort of relationship with their godparents that I had with mine. And it's not anybody's fault. It's not like we could point and say, well, it's y'all fault. Y'all didn't show up. it's just as much our fault as it is that it's everybody's fault. You see what I'm saying? But it makes me sad because none of them, meaning their kids or our kids, don't get the experience that I got. And, because my godparents were my aunt and uncle, they were at all of my sports events. They were at my, they were at I don't know, when I look back on my childhood, I can't think of a time where they weren't there. 8th grade graduation, high school graduation, college graduation. They were there. They were the first ones there. They were, shoot, my prom, when I got ready to go to prom, they were standing on the porch taking pictures. You see what I'm saying? I can't think of the time where they weren't there. They would take their kids on family vacation and I would be sitting right between my god brothers, which were my cousins. So it's I called them my brothers more than I called them my cousins. You know what I mean? And it's it's just because it was family, every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, they were there. You know what I mean? Because it was family, they were there. When I would get in trouble and stuff, I had to answer to my mom, my granny, my grandfather, my aunt, which is my mom's sister, we all lived together before my mom, married my stepdad. And then then I had to answer to my godparents because girl, don't you know my mom and them was going to call and make sure they knew what was going on. So I grew up with the village. So having a bunch of people pouring into me was all I knew. So when Kennedy and Caleb was born, that's all we wanted for them. To the point where, now this part y'all probably don't know. And I could say this freely because it ain't nobody here but me. Even if there came a day where T and I didn't work out, she would still be in Kennedy and Caleb's life. Their bond is that close. I would be doing her a disservice and I would be doing them a disservice if I separated them because they're that close. Literally when I'm around her, even when I'm not around her, even when I got the kids at home and she's here, Kennedy and Caleb will be like, can we call T? And they sit on the phone. Kennedy and Caleb have sat on the phone with her for an hour or two. You see what I'm saying? It's just, so it's I literally will be, girl, I'll be like, girl, I can't date them because what we not finna do is have a whole nother, person. But that's how close they are. But that whole village mentality, when people connect, family or otherwise, I don't know, y'all, Tammy said it definitely take a village. She said, when my 3 children were young, between mine and my husband's work schedule, our family really showed up for us. Yeah. And it's just best friend, my granny goes to Chicago. She's got an eye doctor in the city. So from her house to Chicago is an hour 15, something like that. Hour 15, hour and a half, depending on traffic. Well, we all alternate kind of who takes her, who drives her. For a long time, it was me driving her to all of those appointments. Well, now Kennedy and Caleb are back in traditional school, so I have to be home at a certain time to get them. Then you also have to factor in the fact that depending on what the weather is, I may or may not be able to physically go outside that day because of my asthma, right? So with all that being said, it's a situation where, she has to go to her appointment on Wednesday. So she called and was like, can you take me? And I'm like, it depends, right? There's a lot of factors. It depends. But it's easy for me to show up for her because we all show up for each other. That's just what we do. It's just what we do. So, yeah. That's just what we do. So, yeah. But the same way how you guys see Chaun taking care of her granny and her mom and them, I've done that. My grandfather is deceased. He passed away when Kennedy and Caleb were 6 or 7 months old, but he was sick for 10 years. And between my mom, my granny, and my aunt taking care of him, I also was taking care of him. That's just what our family do. That's just, from Chaun's 2 sides of her family, her mom's side, her dad's side, to both, on my side too. My mom's side, my dad's side. We show up, we take care of each other. That's all we know. Girl, if you ain't got nothing else, you got family. That's how it should be. And the same is true with T. That's why for me, when you look at dating, and I feel like I'm rambling, I'm just talking at this point, y'all. But when you look at dating, it's important to look beyond the warm and fuzzy feelings. It's important to look beyond, who you have good sex with. You got to look at who shares your similar family values. Who believe what you believe. When the rubber meet the road, and the call come through to that other person's phone and somebody's sick or something doesn't happen, how do they respond? Huh? That's important. You got to pay attention to that. It's not just sitting across the table playing footsies with each other, at dinner or going to concerts and stuff. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. You got to ask tough questions. What is that person's relationship like with their family? What is that person's relationship like with their children, their friends, all this other stuff? How do they show up for people? Not just how do people show up for them. How do they show up for people? You have to pay attention to these things. And people can tell you stories about this and that all the day long. You have to look, you have to watch. You have to watch, best friends. You have to watch. You have to watch. You have to watch. I was on video with Chaun the other day, and I was at the vendor and we was getting the inventory and stuff for the business. Chaun was like, I got to put you on hold. I got to help my mama get back in the bed. You see what I'm saying? She was at the hospital when we was on video. You see what I mean? When I showed up in T's parents' funeral, all anybody could say about her was how she never left. She was there all the time. She was there all the time. Everybody told the same story. She was there all the time. You have to listen to what people are saying. You have to watch what people are doing. When I'm sick, I see how T show up for me. When I was pregnant, I seen how Chaun showed up for me. You got to watch. Because we ain't going to always be 40 years old. I'm 40 years old. I'm not going to always be able-bodied in 40. If I'm not able-bodied in 40, you showing me today what I need to see when I'm 80 or 90. Or hell, I might be like, and I hope I'm not, I might be like that lady in that car accident on the video we was talking about the other day. Girl, if it happened today or tomorrow, how are you going to show up for me? That's important. But it goes back to what the best friend was saying when she was like, you got two women, who love you and who, yeah, I choose well. I choose well. Thank God for sending people, my way that find value in me and they see something in me as well, but I choose well. I don't get everything right, but that's one thing I do get right. I get that from my dad. I get you. Hey, listen. Hey, let me tell you something. Me and my brothers were sitting around when this is the time of year. Y'all gonna get a lot of daddy stories. This was the time of year when daddy started to get sick before he passed away. So my mind goes back to this time last year where I was. You see what I'm saying? And when my brothers and I was sitting around at the hotel and daddy was getting ready to transition, we was all telling stories about dad. And we was like, we could say this and we could say that, but the common denominator is he chose well. He chose well. He chose women who took damn good care of his children, who raised them and poured into him. He chose well. He didn't lay down with anybody. You see what I'm saying? I choose well. I choose well. I get it from my daddy. I choose well. It ain't enough to have a big butt and a smile. You understand what I'm saying? I choose well. Yep. Yeah. But I'm just talking, y'all. Anybody got any questions for me? Anything y'all want my 2 cents on? Girl, y'all get to asking questions and I get to talking even more. Yeah, Daphne said you got to be able to tell if it's real or fake. You do. Yeah. Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for wishing all of us a happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you too, best friend. Happy Sunday to each of you guys. Everybody watching live and the replay. But yeah, co-parenting is not always easy. Girl, the more I look at myself in this thing, I need to go up there and put some more lotion or something on my face, girl. Woo. Miss Linda said, what's the weather like? I haven't been outside today. I'll go outside this evening when I get ready to go home. The weather is, I don't know. I know yesterday it was something like 20 something, but it was supposed to have been feeling like 7 or something, girl. It was a fool. It was cutting a fool. Um, but yeah. But yeah, I think that's what the weather is like, Miss Linda. I think it's something like 20 something, but it was, if it's like yesterday, it was like 22. I think the truck said 22, but it was feeling like 7 or something, is what the weather people said. And I said, "Ooh, girl, this is a fool." But it's still snow on the ground. I'm looking out the window now. T got this big picture window. The FedEx truck. I didn't even know FedEx moved on Sunday. I guess, girl. The FedEx truck looked like it was slide down the hill a little bit. Yeah. Daphne said it's cold in Georgia. See, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be cold, because I seen somebody. It's this lady that I watched this out of Atlanta. Girl, she had on a fur coat. Girl, what's happening all over? Let me say, I knew it was cold. I knew it was cold all over the world. I mean, all over the country, because the birds, girl, the birds normally leave here and go south for the winter because it be so cold here. Girl, the birds keep coming back. Girl, they so scared and confused. They keep coming back, because they ain't got nowhere to go, girl. They ain't got nowhere to go. They keep circling around and coming back. So, best friend said, Candy, I hope you feel better than you sound. Girl, I feel just like I sound. This asthma. And I don't even have a cold, but I'm going to hit these two. I'm going to hit these two again, and then I'm going to do a breathing treatment. The real thing is, my asthma doctor always wants to put me on steroids. He always wants to put me on steroids to get my lungs together. But it's bad to be on steroids. Number one, you blow up like a house, and I can't get bigger. So number one is the weight gain with steroids. But number two, he was saying that long term, it does more damage to your organs. It's not good for your organs. Girl, I'm looking at these people. People are still sliding. It didn't even snow, but I'm watching this truck just slid. Oh my God. People are still sliding. But yeah, they were saying that the steroids do long-term, damage and stuff to your organs. And I mean, why solve a problem today that's causing 10 tomorrow? I don't know. Martha said it was 20 degrees in Mississippi this morning. Girl, good night. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't want it. I don't want none of it. Thank you very, very much for your kind words, Miss Anitra. She said, I hope you feel better soon. Thank you, best friend. Thank you. Yeah. Diamond said, do you have to be on your machine every 6 hours? Yeah, so it helps if I get into a routine like that. My asthma doctor did say try to do a breathing treatment every 6 hours, but it's time consuming, right? Because my breathing treatments, I have to put 2 of them things in there, and it take like an hour to do. So like every 6 hours, girl, that's like 4 hours out your day just off the top. So, I can't, I be like, girl, so I just try to do it as needed. You know what I mean? Best friend said it's 8 degrees in Tennessee. Oh my God. What part of Tennessee? See, that's what I'm saying. I don't want it. Anywhere I move at this point, anywhere I move is cold. Linda said, can you go outside in the weather? I'm not supposed to. It's probably best that I don't. When I went outside yesterday, it made me sick, and I ended up coming in the house and being sick. Claudia said, do you mind sharing who you watched in Atlanta? It was a lady. I don't know. I can't remember. So it's crazy because, and I don't know if this happens to y'all. Sometimes excuse me. Sometimes with my Facebook, random people will pop up. Random people will pop up for me. I've seen, and I can't remember the lady's name, so I apologize, best friend. I've seen her content before, but she was just live. She literally was live and what is her name? I feel like I know I've seen her videos before, but she was live in the car. She was going to church and she was talking about what she had on. But anyway, she had on a fur coat. Girl, she had on a fur coat. And she was talking about how cold it was. But I don't know. Best friend said Murfreesboro. We have family in West Tennessee, but I got the email last night. Kennedy's gonna be in a softball tournament in June, the first part of June in Tennessee, and then we're gonna be in Michigan in April for her team. So yeah, but we're gonna be in Tennessee definitely in June. Yeah. So best friend said they say Arizona is good for people with asthma. I got family in Arizona. They've been wanting us to come out there. I don't know, girl. I want to go to Texas. Anybody in Texas know what do y'all know about Texas for asthma? I don't. There's nothing. Okay, so this is the thing. Maybe I'm judging because I've never been there. There's nothing about Arizona that has like piqued my interest. You see what I'm saying? Like, I know people who, like, in my age group, like, you know, let's say 38 to like 45, right? I know people in our age group that have moved to Arizona and then eventually moved back to Illinois after like a year or two because they be like, it's too slow. So like, or they'll be like, it's too slow, or they'll be like, you know, my kids were bored because there's not a lot to do there for kids, for, you know, whatever, because it's like a retirement place. I don't know. Best friend said Dallas. See, that's where I want to go. I want to go to Dallas. T want to go to Austin. Well, she don't really want to go to Texas, but if we go to Texas, she was like, I want to go to Austin. And she likes Arizona. I'm not interested in Arizona. Neither one of us are really interested in Florida. She's big on like we had this conversation. She's big on like, she want to go to like liberal states. She be like, you know, she like, you know, we two women, we got these kids, you know, whatever. So she, in her mind, she like, I want to go to a liberal state. And I be like, girl, I've been dating women since I was 15. Okay. Like none of that ish matter. Whether you live in Indiana, Illinois, like at the end of the day, you still black and you still got these two children and there's still two women raising these two children. So like at the end of the day, like, so for me, liberal versus conservative state, that don't matter to me, but it's important to her. So I just sometimes when you're in a relationship, you got to just smile and nod. So I smile and nod. Best friend said, not Austin. Austin is for the fast life. Is it? Austin is for the fast life? Sheila said Maryland. Now see, Maryland, I got family in Maryland too, girl. We got family everywhere, y'all name it. But Maryland is cold. I like the fact of how Maryland is, but Maryland is cold. I'm not going nowhere else that's cold. Girl, if it's cold, I can leave my stuff where it's at. I'm not going nowhere where it's cold. I can't do that. Girl, I can't go to Utah. It ain't enough melanin in Utah. It's very important for me, best friends. I tell y'all all the time on this platform, I love everybody. But I believe this is something that I heard. I heard a young lady say while I was on the Peloton the other day. She said that her teacher taught her that it's good to look through windows, but it's equally good to look through mirrors, to see yourself in a mirror, meaning that kids should always see people who look like them, because otherwise they may grow up feeling like there's something wrong with them. So here lies my point. Kennedy and Caleb are biracial. You guys know they're Black and Mexican. Their donor is Mexican. It's important for us as a family to surround them with people from both cultures. When they go to their school, now that they're back in traditional school, when they go to their school, 100% of the teachers in their school are Caucasian. They also are both in fourth grade. They're both in advanced classes, but outside of the advanced English and math classes that they share, when they go back to their homeroom, they're in two separate homerooms. And for all intents and purposes, for both of those kids, they're both the only Black kid in the class. You see what I'm saying? Like there's no mirrors in their life, right? There's not a lot of mirrors in their life. There's only windows. They're looking out, seeing the world through other people's lenses. They're not seeing themselves a lot. Then you have to look at their sports teams. They're the only Black kids on the sports teams. You see what I'm saying? Like it's just, now Kennedy, there's another biracial girl on Kennedy's team. But for all intents and purposes, everybody from the coaches to the other players, everybody from, so they just don't have mirrors in their lives when it comes to other kids. And so when I start thinking about relocating, I'm wanting to relocate to affluent communities where there's a high culture or a high demographic of Black excellence. I want to go where there's warm weather and Black excellence. I'm going to be unapologetic about what I'm saying. Black excellence and good weather. Now, Maryland, DC has Black excellence like no other. But that damn weather, baby, that weather, it's the weather. You see what I'm saying? I want to, Linda said, Candy, didn't you pick the team? I did, but I didn't, right? Kennedy. So you got to think softball in Illinois. Most of the Black girls or the Black kids that play sports at a high level, they playing basketball and football here in Illinois. They playing basketball and football here. Kennedy and Caleb play baseball and softball. So you already going into a sport that's predominantly white, right? Then when you look at playing for travel teams and playing for the top travel teams and playing for the top travel teams, and you get private lessons to be better at your craft, it's just us. It's just us in this area. It's just us. Cynthia said California. Yeah, California. Now, the only thing I don't like about California is the cost of everything. The cost of everything. Rosalind said Florida. I may have to consider it then. I may have to consider it. Dana said, I'm speaking from real life experience that will have impact on their development. It does. It does. So then you have to look at too, they're getting to the age where they're also going to be getting to the age where they're going to be dating, right? You're going to date who you see. You see what I'm saying? And if all you see is other cultures, then that's all you have to choose from. It's nothing wrong with dating who you're going to date, but I want to give you, it's almost like that box of candy that my grandfather used to sometimes get my granny from Fannie Mae. He would get her this assorted box of candy. I want to give my kids the assorted box of candy. Whoever you're going to pick is whoever you're going to pick. But what I don't want to do is only give you one choice and then that's all you see what I'm saying? Like, no. And the only people who don't understand this concept are the people whose kids see themselves everywhere they go. Could you imagine? And this is to the best friends who not Black and brown. You see what I'm saying? You don't come from, the Hispanic community, the Black community, or the Asian community, whatever. Could you imagine literally being a child and you go to school and every teacher is other than yourself. Every student is other than yourself. And you the only person there. And people be like, how does your hair work? Your hair looks so different. How often do you have to wash your hair? Let me touch your hair. Let me do that. Like, this is literally like, cause I grew up like that. I know it firsthand. So now they're experiencing it. You see what I'm saying? Like after a while, it becomes this thing where you be like, okay, all right, like okay. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to be the only one sometime, but every human should have that balance between looking through mirrors and looking through a window. Seeing the world how everybody else see it versus seeing yourself and other people around you, you know? Teresa said, try tennis for your children. They'll really enjoy tennis. I wanted them, Teresa, let me tell you, it's just me and you on the phone. I wanted them to play tennis because I like the whole concept of an individual sport. Kennedy and Caleb excel at almost anything they touch because of their work ethic. It's not because they're so great or anything like that. It's just their work ethic. Kennedy and Caleb are the kids where if they say they're going to do it, they give their all. So I was drawn to tennis. I put them in tennis one year. They didn't like it. And I kept wanting them to give it another look. For whatever reason, we exposed them to baseball and softball. They fell in love with it. Kennedy was also going to dance. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. I'm live. Kennedy and Caleb were also going to, Caleb was in baseball first. Kennedy, we didn't put her in softball first. We put her in dance. Kennedy was going to, it's a local dance school, but it's a black dance school. They did ballet, they did jazz, they did tap, they did all of that. And she liked it for a little while. But the more we were going to Caleb's baseball games, the more she was like, I want to play girl baseball. She was a little girl. She kept saying, I want to play girl baseball. And I remember looking at Chaun saying, we don't need to put Kennedy in sports because she's not athletic. She's not coordinated like that. Girl, Kennedy kept begging for it. And I did it thinking in my mind, the first time this ball hit her, she going to run back to dance. Kennedy made a whole liar out of me. Kennedy got hit by that ball. She cried and got back up. She got hit by the ball again. She would cry and get back up. And by the end of that first year of her playing, she was so committed to getting better. Kennedy became one of the best players on the team by that second year. By that third year, Kennedy was like, I want to pitch. And she just, last year was her absolute best year. Her coach didn't even know she could pitch. By the end of the year, Kennedy was the starting pitcher last year. Kennedy was the leadoff pitcher last year for her team. And so I ended up finding one of the top pitching coaches in the country. She's a lady out of California. She played for Arizona when Arizona was winning all them championships. She is the coach for the Italian Olympic team, and she coaches for colleges in Chicago. She's literally, thanks, man. Her name is Nancy. She's one of the highest sought after coaches. When I say I don't care if I got to walk around with socks with holes in them, I make sure Nancy get her money. Every time Kennedy's supposed to go to Nancy because Kennedy does the work. 6 days a week, she's in the garage. When it's below zero, Kennedy can't go outside. She's in the garage. She's doing it. So because those are the sports that the kids picked and they sticking with it, you know? Yeah, Linda said, you may have friends all around the world, but choose HBCU for colleges. Yeah. And Linda, just between me and you, I'm going to be going on those HBCU websites, seeing if they got camps for the younger girls so that Kennedy and Caleb get that exposure. They need to see college athletes playing their sports, but that look like them too. Even when we go to the professional games and stuff, it's not a lot of diversity. It's just not. It's not a lot. But you guys got to think how expensive baseball and softball are. They're very expensive sports, kind of like golf and tennis. You know, the more expensive sports, usually, not always, but usually our culture shies away from that. You know, I mean, hell, a good bat is $300, $400, $500. You see what I'm saying? Them real good composite bats, Shoot, when I was growing up as a single mom, my mama didn't have no $300, $400, $500 for no bat. I never played softball as a kid. I played basketball. But as a kid, when I grew up, the only investment my mama had was in some gym shoes for me. And back then, I didn't get no Jordans. I wasn't wearing no. My godfather bought me some Jordans. The 2 pair of Jordans I got, my uncle. We just got through talking about him. My uncle, the one that's taking Kennedy to the dance, that's who bought my Jordans. If I had Jordans on my feet, my uncle bought my Jordans. He bought me a couple pair of Jordans. But yeah, I don't know, best friends. I don't know. Linda said, you showed us a reel of Kennedy pitching and I was so impressed. I catch for Kennedy. When we go to her private lessons, I could show y'all this huge, I got this mark on my leg that's this big from Kennedy pitching, and she threw a low ball. It was just shy of falling into the zone, in the strike zone, but it hit my shin. And I got this big mark on my leg, this bruise from when Kennedy hit my shin. Kennedy's not here. T will tell you, I'm to the point where I could barely catch for Kennedy even now. Kennedy is 10. I could barely catch for Kennedy even now. And I'm still an athlete. I might not have played softball, but I can catch. I can throw and I can catch with no problem. I'm to the point where if I don't start keeping up with Kennedy, with catching for her more and more and more, I'm getting to the point where it's hard to catch for Kennedy. Kennedy's throwing 40-something miles an hour. But when that ball come through that zone, baby, and you sitting on that bucket, because my knees are bad. So I'm the parent, when I'm catching for her and she on the mound, I'm sitting on that bucket. Now I wear shin guards when we outside and I'm catching for Kennedy. After she hit me in my shin, Linda said, I played softball, but not for a travel team. Yeah, Kennedy, yeah, it's fast pitch. Them girls are moving the ball. They're teaching these girls nowadays, best friends. Remember how when we were kids, you play whatever you play. You might play basketball, you might run track. They're grooming these kids almost like how China does their athletes. They're grooming these kids nowadays. If you show interest in a sport and you're 8 or 9 years old, they're grooming these kids now. That's all you play. You get private lessons. Kennedy and Caleb have a hitting coach. Kennedy has a pitching coach. Caleb used to have a pitching coach. I stopped that because he wasn't as committed to baseball as she is to softball. Caleb is more into music. So we kind of letting him venture off into music. But he still wants to play baseball. So we took him out of playing travel ball to playing, just for a regular team. We're not paying $4,000 and $5,000 a year for you to play baseball and you're not that committed to it. We finna get these people this $300 and you finna play local and you finna have a good time and you finna roll with it. You see what I'm saying? But Kennedy is all in with softball. Kennedy's team costs probably $4,000 or $5,000 a year. Plus she has a private pitching coach that is like $120 a session. Plus the hitting coach that's like $70 a session. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, they groom these kids. If you show interest in something now at the age of 8 or 9, 6 to 7 days a week, that's what you're doing. You working on your craft. So Kennedy's other passion is art. She loves art. She loves to draw. She loves to color. She loves to sketch and create stuff. She do that stuff at home. She'll watch her little YouTube videos, and she'll do little stuff like play Roblox like a typical 10-year-old. But Kennedy is like, okay, I gotta put in work. I gotta get back on the mound. I gotta do this, She's committed. Yes, Miss Linda, she wants to go professional. She wants to play professional ball. Kennedy want to play all over the world. And so she's asked me several times, Mommy, can we build my own brand? She wants to have an Instagram. She wants to have a YouTube page, all of that. I keep telling her, I said, I'm telling you, Ken, it's tough, right? Me and Mima are building our brand right here. So I said, the best thing that I could do is when you practicing, when you playing, is maybe put some of your clips and stuff on our page, and then we build it up together. And then as you get older, we build out your brand. But I'm like, Kennedy, we to the point where we probably, in order to take it to the next level, we probably need a videographer. Y'all know how like Darius and some of the bigger brands, they got videographers. We need a videographer. We just can't afford it yet. We can't afford it yet. Because everybody is similar to like, it's similar to, I'm trying to think of like kind of how Chaun was saying the OWN network got all them different shows. Everybody's got their own journey. Everybody's got their own journey. And it all should be documented. You know what I mean? So yeah. Mignon said, how does she manage school with 6 or 7 days a week? My daughter is in accelerated classes and it's hard to manage. So we have a routine. There's only one day, Mignon, that the kids don't do their homework first. And that's Wednesday. Wednesday, they have to be in Naperville, which is about 40 to 45 minutes from us. They have to be in Naperville by 4:00 on Wednesday. That's for their hitting lesson. So Wednesday is the only day that they literally come in from school, change their clothes, we get them in the car, and we're darting down the highway, right? So every other day we just have a routine. We have a routine. Because they're in accelerated classes, their teachers give them 2 or 3 days to get their work done. We have a routine where usually they'll get their homework on Monday. Monday is the only day of the week where they don't have practice, they don't have lessons, anything going on. Monday is our intensive homework day. That's the day where I do all of my stuff with them. If there's something that, Chaun wants to add on, we'll video each other. We go over everything. So the rest of the days through the week, they might still have little homework assignments, but it's stuff that they can get done in 30 minutes to an hour. But Monday is like our intensive. We're going to be grinding. We're going to be studying nonstop. They know for a fact nothing comes before your academics because you can get hurt, you can get injured, anything can happen as it relates to sports. We're not the family that puts anything before their academics. So they've been playing travel ball since they were still being homeschooled, because, that was just kind of like the option. But what I'll say is, even with Kennedy's team now, she's on a very, very good team. But we want her to get exposure to other teams. So even when tryout season comes up, even if we decide to still stay with the same team, which we probably will next year, but even if we decide to stay with them, we're still going to try out for a bunch of different teams because we want a bunch of different teams to get exposed to Ken. But she definitely, she wants to build a brand. She wants to develop products. This is like how her mind is working at 10. This is how her mind is working at 10. But it's because her parents are entrepreneurs. It's because her parents are entrepreneurs. Babe, do you have your phone close by? Chaun just put in the group text that her ETA is 1:12 with them leaving church. But yeah, that's how her mind works, and so in Kennedy's mind, she's like, it could be more little black girls, little Mexican girls, little Asian girls that want to play ball. They just need to see us out here doing it. They just need to see us out here doing it. You see what I'm saying? And so another thing in my mind, I want to do it. I want to create a brand because the kids, we did a YouTube channel and stuff for them years ago, but we haven't posted anything on it probably in 3 or 4 years. But it's one of those situations where Chaun and I talked about it. We want to help Kennedy build her brand, but I'm like, what if we put all this work in? And she's 10. What if by 12 she over it? Or by 14, she looking at boys and she don't want to spend 6-7 days a week practicing pitching. You know what I'm saying? What if by then she on to the next thing and we done spent all of our time building something up and then she like, girl, I don't want to do it no more. I'm done, you know? So, but yes, best friend, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Looking for summer camps at colleges. And just so that she could get that exposure and see different areas. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, we're in the rebuilding process. So financially, you know, I'm asking God to open doors and bless our businesses and all of that good stuff. And I know he will because he's kept us all this time. But in addition to that, I'm wanting it for them too, because the more we're blessed inside of our businesses, the more doors it opens for our children and the more flexibility we have to give them those opportunities that we didn't ever have. Like as a little kid, I don't really remember going on vacation. I went on vacation with my family members, with like my godparents. I told y'all, like we went to Wisconsin Dells and stuff. And then like I went to Philly with another aunt and uncle, but like my mom and them, they had to work all the time. Girl, when everybody else was going on vacations and summer break here and there and all of that, girl, we was at Granny house watching The Price is Right because mama was at work. Mama was at work. You see what I'm saying? So like, I want to give Kennedy and Caleb all kinds of different experiences. I want them to see things that I didn't even know existed. So, best friend said her twins are boy, girl, 13-year-olds. She said my daughter's more driven than my son, especially in sports as well. Yeah, Kennedy is definitely more driven in softball. Caleb, he say he love baseball out of his mouth, but he don't want to practice. So you don't love it. If you're not willing to put in the extra time, you don't love it. You like it. Relationships, sports, anything. Business. If you're not willing to do the extra reps, if you're not willing to put in the work outside of the work, then you don't love it. You like it. You see what I'm saying? Caleb, music comes natural to him. You guys have seen us post reels. He will play a song on the piano, on the keyboard. He's self-taught, right? Equally, his music teacher at school sent him with something that looked like a little baby flute. And he was like, no, it's not a flute, mama. It's called a recorder. So he pulled this thing out the bag. I said, have you ever played this before? He said, no. He said, I just watched my teacher do it. And I paid attention to her breaths, like her deep breaths and shallow breaths. I paid attention to how many holes she covered and how the sound was different. And so he was like, I feel like I could start with hot cross buns and then just go from there and play different songs. Girl, he stood there and played hot cross buns, had never touched this thing. So then he proceeds to say, I think I want to play a couple instruments. I want to play the saxophone and I want to play the keyboard and the piano and stuff. And I was like, oh my God. So Kennedy was standing there and was like, how you learn how to play? Did she teach you how to play? He was like, no, she didn't teach me how to play. I watched her. And so I was like, oh my God. So I, being me, I wanted to give Caleb lessons for like keyboard and piano lessons as a part of his Christmas gift. I talked to Chaun about it. Chaun said, don't do that because he going to fall out of love with it. He ain't going to want to do it. Come here, baby. Sit right here. I'm not going to put you on camera. He fell out of love with it. I said, I didn't get the answer I was looking for. I talked to T about it. Was like, hey, babe, this is what I'm thinking about doing. I want to give Caleb some lessons because, you know, this, that, and the third. She not knowing that I done already talked to Chaun. T was like, don't do that because it's going to feel like work for him. It's going to feel like structure. Caleb's just like you. Caleb want to figure it out on his own. And then if he can't figure it out on his own, or if he want to take it to the next level, he's the kind of kid where he will come and ask you for it versus you forcing it on him. So I'm like, okay, now two people done gave me answers that I really didn't want, right? So then before I pull the trigger on getting the lessons, I go to Caleb and was like, well, son, what if? Let's play the what if game. What if I got you these lessons? Caleb said, nope, I don't want no lessons. It feels like work. He said verbatim what they said. T said here laugh because she know. He said verbatim what they said. T said, I told you so. I told you so. He just like you. He hate to be told what to do. He hates structure. If he could figure it out on his own. And she was like, who's to say, this is what I love that she said, who's to say the classical way of doing it is the only way of doing it? The traditional way of doing something is the only way to do it. Caleb might develop a style all his own that's different than the key placement or the finger placement that they teach you in class. And I was like, wow. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Coley B. You got it. His excitement is teaching himself and feeling that sense of accomplishment. That's exactly what it is for him. You nailed it. That's exactly what it is for him, best friend. That's exactly what it is for him. Yeah. Deborah said that's a gift from God. He has a listening ear. He does. So you guys remember me talking about Aunt Lisa, and you guys always see my cousin Brandon. Brandon is a pastor. You always see me reference Brandon in the comments and talk about my Aunt Lisa, which is my dad's sister. You don't hear me talk about my cousin Byron as often, but my cousin Byron is just like Caleb. He's a grown version of Caleb, right? Byron plays every instrument known to man. He plays the keyboard. He plays the piano. He plays the organ. He plays the drums. I believe Byron plays the guitar, and he probably plays the horns too, right? Byron is also a music producer and has worked with Janet Jackson. He worked with the late Whitney Houston. He's worked with Beyonce. He's worked with so many. Usher. He wrote for Usher. He's wrote songs and worked with so many people. He lives in California. He's worked with everybody. And he's self-taught. My Aunt Lisa said when Byron was young and when he would just be in his room, just on the keyboard, just playing stuff, she reached out to a musician and was like, hey, I want to put him in lessons. I want to sign him up with lessons for you. Aunt Lisa said the musician told him, don't do that. It's going to stifle his creativity. Let him go like he's going, because it's going to take him further. You see what I'm saying? I was like, man, wow. Yep. Wow. Yeah. Best friend said, you might have a music prodigy. I don't know. That's my prayer, because music is my thing. I love music. Music is my thing. But it's interesting because I thought he was going to be the sports person, and I thought maybe Kennedy was going to do something with music. But baby, Kennedy. Caleb could sing, Kennedy can't sing. Kennedy can play sports. Caleb is, Kennedy is outstanding. Caleb is, But baby, Kennedy be on the struggle bus trying to keep up with him in music. And he be on the struggle bus trying to keep up with her on that field. And in art. That's right. He said he can't draw a stick figure. He can't draw a stick figure, and baby, that man's handwriting is deplorable. When I say that man's hand, he write like, we be like, hey, look, what grade are you in? Write this over. Please write this over. Anytime you look at it and you can barely read it yourself, yeah, it's a whole problem. But yeah. Like, I don't know. Right. We be like, Kayla, what this say? What does this say? I don't know. No, that's not acceptable. You're not finna turn this in. But the answers be right though. That's what be blowing me. The boy's so doggone smart. Daphne said, I'm like Kayla, horrible in art. Yeah, I'm horrible in art too. Art don't even, like, as it relates to like drawing and like painting and stuff, that's not even something that would interest me. So I'm like Caleb in the fact that I would just turn on anything. I would turn in anything to my little art teacher. But Caleb, boy. But here's the gag, best friends. When I look back through the paperwork on their donor played a lot of musical instruments too. I just remember that. He was an engineer, so he excelled at science and math just like Caleb. So it's that balance between nature versus nurture. Because I was horrible at math. Yeah. Yeah. Girl, I was in the 2+2 math class, even in college. Like, I had a math tutor in college. Yeah, it was almost math that almost costed me from getting my master's degree and my bachelor's degree. Y'all have to ask Chaun. Did I ever tell you? I don't think I ever told you the story how I paid Chaun to take that accounting class for me when I was getting my MBA. Yeah. Yeah. I asked Chaun, I said, mommy said, hi, T.
Hey, Mama Lynn.
Mama, you hear her? She said, hey, Mama Lynn. Mama said she need my help with this paperwork. Mama, you coming by tonight? You coming by the house tonight or you coming tomorrow? Miss Deborah said, hey, T.
Hey, Deborah.
It's cold outside. It's real cold outside. Like yesterday or worse. Okay. How was your dance class? You juke. You juke. You went. Oh, you finna pay for it. Now everybody saying hi, T. Good afternoon.
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon.
Oh, hello, voice. But yeah, best friends. I'm just sitting on here. I ain't talking about nothing. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go because I know T's finna leave out in a moment to go get the kids. Mama said, when you gonna be there? I have to work tomorrow. I'll be home. We'll be at the house this evening, probably about, I don't know, no later than 6 or 7. Cause the kids gotta shower and stuff and get ready for bed. So I'll be at the house no later than 6 or 7, Mama. But I don't know if you want to come tonight or tomorrow. But I'm gonna be at the house all day tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday and they don't have any activities. They just got their homework and stuff that I'm gonna be doing with them tomorrow. So either way, Mom. Either way. Either way, either way, either way. You got your key. Either way. She said she'll come tomorrow. Auntie Fee. She said, have a blessed day, everyone. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm finna enjoy my strawberry refresher. I'm gonna enjoy my refresher. And I'm gonna sit here and probably find something to watch on TV because once he go get the kids, they finna come and try to take over the TV. We're gonna have to kick them out because I don't want to watch little kitty shows while you cook. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, best friends. I love you guys. I don't know, somebody will call y'all tonight. I don't know if I'll call y'all tonight or what, but make sure you keep your eyes and ears close to the page because I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of stuff that we posting. Miss Daphne said, what are you cooking?
You know.
So she cooking French toast. Beef bacon. Smothered potatoes. Eggs.
And I'm missing something.
Grits. Nah, she cooking cream of wheat. Grits or cream of wheat? Grits. So this is the thing. We a house divided. I like grits. She like cream of wheat. I like grits. She like cream of wheat. So, Miss Daphne said, go on, girl. Yeah, she doing like a little brunch situation. But she cooking so much food that after that, I'm not going to eat nothing else. That's it for the day. Because when I say I'm finna, matter of fact, maybe I'll do a reel on my plate or like a little picture or something and I'll put it in the story. I'll share with y'all what is given. So, yeah. But yeah. I forget you don't eat meat, Auntie Fee. Auntie Fee said, I want some of everything, just not the meat. Yeah. I forget Auntie Fee don't eat meat. I know. Well, you gonna get sick. You ain't had meat in a while. I know. Especially beef. You haven't had beef in a while. I know. But yeah, best friends, I love you guys. Make sure your notifications are on. Next time Chaun go live, ask her, say, when the last time you talked to ask Chaun, when the last time you went on a date with your friend? When the last time you talked to your friend? But you guys have an amazing day. I love you. Keep your notifications on and know that the best is yet to come. But baby, we got work to do. See you later.